Welcome to Bodyology the Movement Podcast, where Anthony, Kaleah, Rod, and Ryan discuss their experience in working in the movement industry. Bodyology was founded not only to help people advocate for their health, but also create positive change within the industry. Join us in today's episode, where we talk to co-host Kaleah about who she is and her journey in the industry. This is Bodyology the Movement Podcast. And hey guys, welcome to our podcast. I'm your host, Anthony. I am here with Kaleah, Rod, and Ryan. How are you guys doing today?
Great. Ready to get this show started.
Awesome. Real quick, I don't know if you guys have known what's going on in the East Coast, but we're out of gas here in Georgia. How are you guys doing?
Same in Florida. We're on a shortage. I don't think we're out, but there's gas stations that are that don't have anything right now. Like I had a friend that had to drive to 6 gas stations just to get something.
Oof. Yeah, I don't have all the gas stations around us are all completely out. We have no gas. Kind of funny.
Oof. Oh yeah, that sucks.
Did you guys know about that, Kaleah, Ryan?
Nope. No. You're in the middle of nowhere. We're doing just fine. Yeah, we appreciate your concern.
I guess that's one of the perks of living in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, perks.
So you're always saying East Coast is the best coast. That's all. Give us a little bit. Let us catch up on our gas, and then we'll go again.
They make sure that our supply is really good. They know that we have to get out at some point. We've got to leave. They're worried about us.
Ridiculous. They also have to do all the farming. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Got to save all the gas for the people who make your food. You know.
Yeah, 100%. All right, guys. Today, like promised, we are gonna get to know Kaleah a little bit better. Kaleah, you ready?
Oof. Yeah. Do you want to know me? Are you sure?
Yes. I don't know where those Viking genes came from.
That's right. That's right.
Run deep.
Let's just start off. Give us a quick little rundown about you. Kind of how we did on that first episode, but a little bit more, just to kind of give us a refresher, and then we'll go
Sure.
questions for you.
Awesome. I'm Kaleah. I work at Sacred Roots Holistic Healing here in Kansas City. I grew up in Wyoming, in this little town called Saratoga. I'd only recommend it for the hot springs. So go there at your will. By choice, hopefully. From there, so growing up, I have 3 older sisters and a younger brother. So I had a big family. My dad worked as a Forest Service road builder in the mountains, as well as a logger. So we grew up around heavy machinery. We work hard, too hard. That's kind of our family motto, I think. From there, I lived in the Dominican Republic for a little bit outside of high school. And from there, I moved out on my own to Cheyenne, Wyoming. Met my husband there. Was in the hotel and hospitality industry for a while, doing hotel management and different things like that. So that took me all over Wyoming. It's a big state, turns out. Not just the middle of nowhere.
I've never known.
But my oldest sister is a massage therapist and has been for 20 years now. So I had the opportunity to stay with her and go to school in Fort Collins for massage. And from there, we moved out here, and I've been continuing my education through a lot of various fields, but just working hard on that and building my career from there.
Cool. That's awesome.
That's it, guys. That's all you need to know.
I'm so excited about the Vikings.
Yeah. I guess I didn't talk about that.
I have a grandpa named Thor, and I like whitewater rafts. Use my Viking wax.
So, yes, I do have a grandpa named Thor. So basically, my great-grandfather is from Sweden. So they immigrated to California, and so that's kind of where I like to say I'm a European mutt. I'm basically everything from over there. My 23andMe is very lackluster. It's very boring. Don't read it. I was super disappointed. But yeah, that's my family history. We just work and pillage things.
Now, is Kaleah a Viking name? Sorry, I'm going off track.
No, so it's actually Hawaiian based.
Oh.
And it means like they have these wreaths that are for like festivals or special occasions, and so that's what it's signifies. But yeah, my parents didn't know that when they named me, so I just have this name.
Oh man! So Ryan, what is it like working with Kaleah?
What's it like working with Kaleah?
Oh God.
It's awesome. It really is awesome. I think the biggest thing, and it's funny because Kaleah is incredibly intelligent, and for somebody who I think when she first came in had only been a therapist for a couple of months, I defer to her a lot. I'm like, hey, Kaleah, I need to know about this or this. What do you think about this? So it's really cool. It's neat. She does a ton of research. She's constantly learning new things and really up to date on all new sciences and things like that. It's really an awesome environment. People will tell you that have worked with us together that Kaleah really runs things here. So we love it.
Shannon actually runs things. Ryan's wife is the mastermind behind everything.
It's like a weird mob here. You never see her. You don't know that she's a part of the business, but she runs it all.
It's true.
What about Kaleah did you feel like was like, yes, I have to have her on the team here?
So initially, when I was looking for another therapist to hire on, was a part of a Facebook group, and I had asked where everybody was trained. I was trying to find people who weren't trained in this area for various reasons. And she said that she was trained in Colorado. So I was like, cool, I'm going to reach out to this person. And then in the interview, it was literally one of the best sessions I've ever had in my life. So that's when I was like, yeah, you should probably work here. So it was really seamless. I feel like she came right in and kind of showed her value very quickly. She does work very hard, and it's been awesome. I can't ask for a better partner in the business.
Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great. Another thing you should know about me, compliments are hard.
So what is one thing you wish you had known before you got into this career, starting off as a massage therapist and everything?
Sure. I think with massage therapy and then with just the fitness and movement world in general, I think a lot of people don't know how much education goes behind it or how much science there is. I really wish I would have done it sooner, had I known how much good information is out there and how much that evolves. I really like when things aren't stuck in one way of thinking. I love when people are humble and able to progress and are hungry for progression. I think right now it's hard in the industry. We're kind of battling the change, but also holding on to some of the same values. But that's something that I really wish that I had learned more about or was presented more in the education of it, that this is based on science, that this is a continuing process of education.
So the question I was asked last week, I'm just going to go ahead and steal that one. So what's your biggest failure and what did you learn from it?
So I would say there are 3 main struggles or failures, not just one special like that. I'd say the moments that I've listened to my own self-doubts, I think we've all had that. And especially as being massage therapists or corrective exercise specialists or PTAs, right? Like, we're all not doctors. And at that point, people get very judgy about that, I think. And maybe that's not the right word and that's not fair, but it is presented with this almost idea of like, well, when people talk about massage therapy, they're like, oh, you had to go to school for this? Yes, I went to a lot of school for this. Or, like, why didn't you progress or continue? So I think just listening to those self-doubts, or just the doubts of other people around me, especially being new in this field, that's difficult. I'd say I'm grateful for as much education as I've been able to do, and as good quality of education that I've been given. That I don't feel like I'm new, even though I am. And so there are moments where people ask me like, well, how long have you been doing this? And I just kind of suck in some air a little bit because I'm like, oh fuck, like here we go, like discounted. Ryan knows the exact, we have this conversation all of the time where I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm a child doing this job. So yeah, here we are. The other thing that was really hard, so in my past, just being a survivor of sexual abuse, it was really hard coming into the field and having some of those triggers of there's a male client here, and just having to work through that. It's something that I feel very confident about now, that like I'm strong. I've been told I've actually had these conversations with a few male clients, and it's been interesting because they're like, oh, well, I would never assume that like anything had happened to you because like I think you would beat me up like if I said anything inappropriate or anything like that. So I'm thankful for just being able to work through those things, be able to acknowledge some triggers and things like that. But it has been a struggle. And then I think the final thing is just the fear of not being able to do enough for somebody, the fear of always wanting to do more, to be the most effective, to be the best you can possibly be, and to not know, like, not necessarily, like, was that the best session that I could give? Was that exactly what they needed? Like, you don't necessarily know. You can make educated guesses, but that's hard.
I'm sorry you had to go through that.
I never knew that about you.
Yeah, I had a long debate about whether I was going to talk about this. So,
well,
yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Opening that up and sharing it with us, because I feel like when it comes to sexual abuse and all that stuff, a lot of people, we lost Ryan. A lot of people don't really open up about it as much.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that a lot of people should be able to feel like it's always a safe place. It's okay to speak up. It's okay to, kind of share how you're feeling and stuff.
Yeah.
I won't go too much into detail, but someone in my family, a couple of people in my family have been in a situation like that. And it's like, I feel like more people need to talk about it. So the fact that you're using this platform and talking about it, I think that's really, really good, especially in the industry.
Yeah.
Like, you got listeners out there, you got followers.
Yeah, I think it's hard not to feel like a little bit of apprehension, right? Because you feel like people will look at you differently. But especially as a massage therapist or somebody in this field where you're working one-on-one with clients, like it's okay to have those feelings of just almost like those feelings of fear or that you're planning everything, right? I think every woman has had a thought process, excuse me,
Right?
of just choking, don't mind me, a thought process of, is this a safe situation? If I need to get out of here, how do I do so? And I think more and more now, it's been really awesome to be able to, as people are on my table, obviously, it's in a safe environment, so people feel open to talking about things. So it's awesome to be able to discuss these things, even with clients, and just be a real human for them.
Right.
I think just more and more, we need people like that.
For sure. And not to take away from your situation and what you went through, but same thing goes for males.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
I have a friend that's of course, male massage therapist. And for a while, he stopped taking certain people because he was just felt uncomfortable.
Sure.
And it hurt his pockets, it hurt his business, but it took him a while to be able to take those types of, or I'm not gonna say who they were or whatever, but to
Sure.
take those certain clients again. So like being able to speak out and like talk about your problems, really, I mean, it really does help. So being able to just talk about it, and people are out there wanting to listen.
And I think the more that it's just awareness that this is everybody in the field has to be concerned about this, just because there are a lot of stigmas. Things have happened like in professional organizations, with chiropractors, PTs, with massage therapists, with all of the healthcare professionals. And so just to be aware that these are things that do happen, but that the more open and honest we are about where we're at, and just with creating a safe space, it's really encouraging to me, because I do see several clients that come in and they're like, well, I do feel like this is a safe space. This is why I recommend you guys, or different things like that. Like, it's just encouraging that, the more we create places that are both safe for therapists and patients, the better it can be for everybody.
Right. And good job on doing that. Good job on creating a safe place for your clients and stuff. It's very
well. Likewise for you guys.
Oh, thank you.
I know your focus is going to be more education-based moving forward and that sort of thing. What are you hoping to accomplish with your career? Because we all know, I mean, I feel like people know the idea of what we try to do as body workers and that sort of thing across the board, and care and that sort of thing. What do you hope to accomplish outside of taking care of people? What do you want to do on the other end of this industry?
How a teacher explained this to me. He was my favorite teacher. We're still friends. I'll hopefully see him in July. So shout out to Ben. This is your dinner invitation. So he was talking about how important education is to him, and how important that role as a instructor was, as far as he was like, I can only help one person on my table at a time. But to have the effect of, I can help 20 people learn about themselves, impact other people, just grow as human beings, hopefully in a way that, the best parts of themselves are able to really shine through. I think that kind of ripple effect is the most important thing. I think that's how you can talk about this is my issue with politics. You can talk about changing the world all day, but unless you're affecting the people in your circle, and changing how people react and show kindness towards others, I don't think real change happens until you're invested in the community around you.
So, like, kind of like looking back, let's pretend you're like younger, because you're young.
Me as an actual child?
Yeah. Getting into the field and stuff, it's like, what advice would you tell your younger self right before you think that get into the industry?
I would say know your worth. but then add to your worth. So I think sometimes there's there's two ways it can go. I think sometimes therapists are so affected by their self-doubts and just lack of experience in different things that they don't realize the value that they have. The other side of it is that I think sometimes people are too conceited and they can't see that, okay, so yes, you have skills, but those need to be developed. Like those can always be honed further. As Anna and Chris Frederick from Stretch to Win would say, stay humble, stay hungry. So I think to just know your worth, to charge what you're worth, to also show your clients that value as well, being comfortable saying like, hey, this is good for you and this is a recommendation that I think would really benefit you. It was a really hard struggle for me, like that first year. Even I still struggle with it, like receiving tips, different things like that, or even like that whole checkout process. I'm like, oh, like, why are you paying me? It's terrible and not reasonable at all. But again, confronting that, but then adding to your worth, not ever getting complacent or self-confident, or maybe arrogant is the word I would say, to the point where, yeah, you feel like there's nothing else to learn. I'm a god at this, different things like that. Because even the people that are the most influential in our field are still learning every day.
Awesome.
And to kind of piggyback off that, just because we've had this conversation before, like knowing your worth is huge, but trying to convey to the people that it's not so much what I'm worth or what this time with me is worth, it's the results that we give. Like,
yeah,
that is what is, I think like I said, we've talked about it before, like charging what you're worth and all that stuff is great, but like, it's all about what we're doing for you and the results that we're giving to you moving forward. That's what you're paying for, that education, that result that I can give to you, not so much what, getting over it, more of it of just, I'm worth this, but also because I give this to you to get better.
Yeah.
So everybody has their typical target audience, but what kind of client do you usually look for? Like my favorite, like I love athletes. So what is your ideal client?
So I say that mine is a little more broad than that. It can fall in the category of athletes, but I'd say just people that are willing to learn along with you. So I'd say any person that comes into a session wanting to learn about their body, wanting to be better, the people that are hungry, right? Ready to be better. I'd say that's the ideal client, just somebody that wants to be there for them.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I just had she just became one of my favorite clients. She's a runner, but everything I tell her to do, like she asks for more. I'm like, oh my God, you're actually doing things. What is this? And she's asking for more. She's hungry. She's really trying to get better. I asked her to, like, she runs like ultra marathons and stuff like that, which number one, that's crazy and beyond of itself. But I asked her, I was like, all right, can you, like, I'm not going to tell you to stop running, but let's run for some speed. So that way, let's go to 3 miles a day instead of what you were doing before, which I think was like 10 to 12. Mm-hmm. And she was like, all right, cool, let's do it. And I was like, not even a little bit pushback. Like, this is great. You're awesome. So just as you were saying, like people that are hungry, people are willing to listen, and people that are just ready to kick ass and get things done. Those are the best.
Honestly.
Yeah. I really, so there's some groups within that I really love. So it's interesting because I think coming from a a background of trauma. There was this, so I know Anthony listens to this podcast, so Experts on Experts by Dax Shepard. I think it's Alexi Pappas. She's an Olympic runner, and she talks about that trauma is a very potent motivator, but it's not sustainable. So I'd say also the clients that I really love typically have some type of trauma. They're very highly motivated, and they just end up, I hope that that they end up both being highly motivated, but also working through some of that to find more sustainable coping mechanisms. So I think part of that is massage, is personal training, is PTA or PT. All of the things that help them to find less pain, to mitigate and self-regulate some of that as well. So anyways, there's my little side note.
The recovery day. We talked about it a little bit with Rod. This is something that we talked about with a lot of our people on the things that we did before. What is your ideal recovery day? You got nothing else going on. This is all about you. Go.
Haagen-Dazs ice cream.
Because money's not an object. I don't have to get Bluebell. I'd say recovery day, I'm much less low-key than Ryan. Or, no, than Rod. I don't know why I called you Ryan. I'd say I would start with some coffee, as some really good coffee, as always. After that, I'd say probably a good workout, nothing like too strenuous, but also just something to kind of rejuvenate, wake me up, all of that. Mm-hmm. From there, I think I would want to do a fascial stretch therapy session. So, you know, if one of you are volunteering, then that would be great.
Like it in the hot tub.
Yes, we're now patenting hot tub FST. Yeah, so I would start with an FST session. Following that, I think I would do a massage as well, just kind of working different parts, right? So I feel like FST, you're working from the joints to the more, or the deep to the more superficial, and massage, you're doing the opposite, right? You're working superficial to deep. So I want both of those. I would say then you can just drop me off at a vineyard, and I'll just do some wine tasting for the rest of the day. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, like I feel like part of my self-care is very mental, emotional, and for me, I love live music, I love concerts, so I'd probably go to a concert after that, and then probably end the day with another massage. So that's where we're at.
Going back to me now, we all have some people that influence us, whether they're in the industry, whether they're just people we look up to because of their humanitarianism. You know what I mean. World, who are like your 3 top people?
Well, I'd like to give a shout out to Kate Spade for making some cute handbags. No. I would say one of my top people would be my sister, Sheila, the one that has been a massage therapist for 20 years. I remember as like a 4-year-old, so there's a 15-year gap between us, so she's basically my mom. Like I gave her flowers on Mother's Day, which she hated, by the way. Sorry, Sheila. But yeah, when I was 4, she went to California to massage school, and we dropped her off, and she was she was staying there. We're leaving. We're going back home, and I would lay on the floor, and she would give me a little bit of a massage, right? Like, because I'm like just trying to stretch the time I have with her, and she was just telling me this now. She's like, you would just get sadder and sadder. I'd be doing like this little massage on a 4-year-old, right? And she's just like, you'd get so sad because like the longer it goes, the more close it was to the time that you had to leave. So that was some of my first memories. I also remember her coming back to our small little town and letting me mix up aromatherapy, basically just create like this like bomb of aromatherapy because I was a kid and chose every scent to add. So there were different things like that, like as a young kid, that I really latch on to. But then in my adulthood, just being somebody that has my back in this field as well, that understands where I'm coming from. So like a little bit of backstory, my family is very religious. And so like my oldest sister and my youngest brother are pretty much the only contact I have with my family at this point, based on their choices. And so it's just made us closer. Like she understands where I'm coming with my family. She understands my triggers. She understands massage therapy world. She's just somebody that I can always go to for advice. So as soon as she has her business set up in Canyon City, I'll do a shout out for that.
You moving there?
Sorry, what?
Is she moving to Kansas City?
Canyon City. So Canyon City, Colorado. Yeah, I was actually just there on vacation. So
awesome.
It's beautiful. The other people I would say, a couple of my teachers in school, Ben and Annalise. Ben is somebody who I think is, so we always compare him to, if you watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, he's basically Uncle Iroh. And he is just somebody that I want to be when I grow up. I think he has a good sense of boundaries, as well as just creating an atmosphere of kindness and understanding and humanism. So yeah. And then Annalise is like a powerhouse of knowledge. She's young. She's I think 26-ish, but I mean, she was my physiology and pathology teacher. She has so much information, so knowledgeable. And I just also want to be that, hopefully one day.
Awesome. I guess it's my turn, and sorry, I'm gonna be a little unprofessional right now, but I'm stuck on this Viking thing.
Oh my god.
Is Sheila a Viking name?
I don't know.
It sounds like it could be.
As much as it's like in the background of my culture and my heritage, I don't know a whole lot about it. I know that my great-grandfather is Thor of Torsby. Torsby is this little.
He even has an
of Torsby. Yeah, that's his little village.
It's real. It's real.
Damn,
yeah.
That is awesome.
So, yeah, he would always say that he missed the lakes and the mountains and the beautiful scenery, but he hates the snow. So he was so thankful for California. He was so excited about it. They had no snow. But aside from that, I mean, like lineage-wise, like I just always say, also to be unprofessional, I just come from a long line of asshole men. So that's where we're at there. We kind of are shedding off that heritage, I hope.
So, what is the one myth that you want to break about the industry? Massage get a lot of bad reps sometimes. So, what is that one thing you want to break?
Yeah. So mine is also kind of financial. I feel like people see our rates and they think we make a lot of money. And that's not true. So I would say just that is that, our rates are there to cover overhead and different things, but they also go right back into education. Like, I've spent so much money on education this year, it's ridiculous. But I think that's for every professional. I know you guys invest hugely into your continuing education as well, and we're always doing things to try to push ourselves. So I think that's one of the biggest myths is that we have to be making 60, 70, 80 grand a year, right? Like, with our rates the way they are. And I'm like, that'd be nice. That's a cool story, bro. But definitely not the case, right?
Yeah, especially when we're having to throw the majority of our money back into the company as well. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
We have to do our advertisement. We have to get, like, I do cupping, so I have like my cupping sets. I have the lotions, the biofreeze, like all of that stuff costs money, and it's not cheap.
Well, and more than that too is just the time. Like, for every hour that you're seeing a client, there's probably 3 hours on the back end just trying to market or advertise or keep notes and all of the things for them as well.
Not to mention cleaning.
Oh my Lord.
It's disinfecting, y'all. Like, especially the cups, man. Those like literally make my fingers cramp sometimes when I'm trying to clean them. I'm like, oh God, I need another set.
Well, and too, for Rod, like, you travel. Well, I guess both of you do. You have a lot of travel time as well, so it's costly, and it's as one of my teachers would say, it's a profession of the heart, not the wallet. So it's just is what it is, but definitely a big myth.
100%. I mean, the money's a bonus, but
yeah,
being to help people is where it's at, not necessarily the money.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if we did this because we wanted the money,
there's a lot of other things that pay much better.
Well, mostly for me, I can only speak for myself here, but I was focused on the passion and helping people, and my kind of like my reward for that was I got lucky enough to where I can make a living now, because people feel that passion. They feel, okay, he's not doing it for the money. He's doing it because he cares. And people value that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're invested. You're invested in them.
Yeah, and then people really feel that, and they love it. And I think it's important to make people feel like they're actually people and humans, and not just another 50-minute session on your table.
Yeah.
That's X amount of dollars back in your pocket. So, like, no, be invested, I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I have this one client right now that I'm working with. I've been working with him, I want to say, since Valentine's week, around that time. So that's 2.5 months. Only once a week for about 70 minutes. I've been working with him. He had an injury, fell right on his shoulder, doing some kayaking, I think. Fell, did some MRIs and stuff. It wasn't broken, dislocated, nothing. It's been a long recovery,
Yeah.
Like, I can't do CrossFit anymore. This happened August. So he's gone from August to February in this pain. Did PT, that didn't help. No offense, physical therapy. Did like all this stuff, and it just wasn't helping him. And he's like, I literally just want to put my shirt back on. Like, I want to be able to wear like t-shirt. I can't wear like the button shirts because that's the only way I can do it. He's like, I can't put anything over my head. So,
wow.
Slowly we're getting results and everything. And this week on Tuesday when I saw him, he came in here. I was like, because I always ask him, how are you feeling? Any changes? Let's do some measurements real quick, just to kind of give us an idea. I did the measurements. We have been seeing some change. But after I had him do some exercises, I did some cupping, a little bit of scraping, but I do mostly cupping with him. I have him doing exercises while the cups are on the wall and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, this is very uncomfortable," and I
Yep.
can't singing, and I'm like, "I know, but let's push through a little bit more if you can, and we'll get to it," you know. Literally by the end of like 45 minutes, I took off all the cups, kind of gave him a quick little what's it kind of like a little massage in a way, you know, I'm not a massage
Yeah.
therapist.
Yeah. Did some manual therapy. Yeah.
With the biofreeze and everything, making sure it's all spread out evenly, dried it all up, and I was like, "All right, put your shirt back on." We were having a conversation. He put his shirt on, everything, didn't even realize it, and he's like, "Wait, did I?"
Oh,
And then we were
that's cool.
doing some testing with his shoulders and stuff, and it was like, I'm not saying 100%, but we were like at a good 90% back mobility.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome, man.
I was like, "Yeah, that's what I like."
That's what we live for.
I know. I was like, "All right, okay, cool." Like, it's the little wins that get us.
Yeah. Well, and I think as, business owners and in the professions that we are in, we're told no, and we have failures and defeats enough that we got to soak in those victories. Got to take them for what they are.
Honestly. Well, I want to thank you for sharing everything you shared with us today, especially about your personal life. I didn't know any of that stuff, so thank you for sharing it. I know a lot of our listeners and followers are going to be really appreciative of that. But yeah, do you have any comments or anything to share to the public before we finish off our podcast?
Yeah, I guess you guys usually see the more I'm here with the jokes, but yeah, real talk is hard. I'm getting there. But yeah, I just appreciate you guys being a safe place for your people in your life, and for me as well. So you guys are awesome, and I appreciate it.
Well, that concludes today's podcast, guys. Next week, we will be talking to Brian, who had to step out real quick. He had to jump into a session here. But we'll be talking to him next week, getting to know him a little bit more. And yeah, but until then, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.